Isn't it depressing to think about death and dying so much? Maybe you have had that thought too. Since I started my hospice volunteer journey, people ask me this all the time. But for me, the opposite is true. I have never felt so much content about my life as I do right now. I will share with you 5 surprising truths about life that only showed up when I started learning about death, and how you can use them to feel more content with your life right now. I am Dr. Johanna Kennedy, a birth doula and hospice volunteer, and this is the Doula Johanna podcast, where we keep death close to live more fully. About a year ago, I started my hospice volunteer course. I expected to learn about death and dying, and I did. I learned about symptoms, communication, families, and grief. But more surprisingly, I learned even more about life and living. So let me share these truths with you so you can implement them in your own life, because you deserve to be the most joyful and content version of yourself. Let us start with truth number 1. Your body is not a project. It is your only home. When you think about getting older, what picture comes up for you? Is it a strong, active 80-year-old who can still walk, travel, carry her groceries, maybe pick up her grandchildren? Or is it more a frail version of yourself that you quietly push away because it feels too uncomfortable to think about? When I started my hospice volunteering and my practicum in a nursing home, I saw so many very frail older women. Thin arms, slow, unsteady steps, a lot of dependence. At the same time, my mom is living with severe osteoporosis and cardiovascular disease. That combination changed how I look at my body completely. I started weightlifting, and whenever I do not feel like it, I picture those women. I picture my future self. And then I pick up the barbell. Not because I want a perfect summer body, but because I want to be able to get off the toilet by myself when I'm 80. Here is a truth I need all of us to hear. Our muscles, our bones, and our heart are not about looking good in summer. They are our future independence. They are the difference between needing help for every step or still being able to decide where we go and what we do. So let me ask you this. If your 80-year-old self could talk to you today, what would she beg you to start or stop when it comes to your body? Maybe she would say, please move me more. Please stop punishing me with diets and start feeding me. Please let me sleep. Please get that checkup. You do not need a complete lifestyle overhaul. Start tiny. Today you can do one strength exercise that uses your whole body. Squats against a wall, a plank on your kitchen counter. You can book this one appointment that you have been avoiding, a general checkup, a bone density scan, whatever your next step is. And you can choose one habit to protect your sleep for 1 week. Put your phone outside the bedroom. Eat less late at night. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Your body is not a never-ending self-improvement project. It is your only home. Death awareness made that so very real for me, and I hope it does that for you too. Let us move to the second truth. Truth number 2, which is most of what drains you will never matter at the end. How many of your worries today will still matter in 5 years, or even in 5 weeks? Be very honest with yourself. Spending time with people at the end of life made it very obvious what does not show up at the end. The messy kitchen does not show up. The unanswered email does not show up either. The embarrassing thing that you said 3 years ago at that party does not show up. I noticed how much energy I spent on things that would never make it into my eulogy. Most of what drains you daily never makes it into the final chapter of your story. So I started using a simple filter, and you can use it too. I call it the 5-5 filter. When you catch yourself obsessing, ask yourself, will this still matter in 5 years or even in 5 weeks? If the answer is no, you have permission to loosen your grip. Pick one recurring stress in your life. Maybe it is the laundry being perfect. Maybe it is answering every email from your kid's school immediately. Maybe it is a volunteer job that you secretly hate but feel guilty about leaving. Bring that one thing to your mind now. Ask the 5-5 question. Will this matter in 5 years? Will it matter in 5 weeks? If not, decide on one tiny way to loosen your grip. Say no once. It can feel so glorious. Lower the standard slightly. Delegate one piece of it. Put a boundary around when you engage with it. And then ask yourself, if I keep spending this much energy on this thing, what does it cost the parts of my life that will actually matter at the end? My health, my relationships, my creativity, my joy. Death awareness is so good at cutting through that noise. Let it help you here. As you are still here, I can tell that you care about intentional living. This is why I want to invite you to a party. It's actually on my birthday, which is the 28th of December, and it's an intention setting party. It's something I've been doing for years, but so far I always did it on my own. This year, I want to invite other women to do it with me. Let's sit down together for 3 intentional hours, look back on the past year, figure out what worked for us and what didn't, what we want to let go of, and what we want to bring into the new year. Let's set intentions for the next year like our life depends on it, because it does. You can join through the link in the description below. Truth number 3 is regrets are almost always about love, not productivity. If you imagine yourself very old, looking back at your life, what do you think you would regret more? Not having a perfectly optimized to-do list, or not having been truly present with the people you love? In this last year, my own relationship went through a rocky phase, to say the least. At the same time, I saw a lot of couples around me separating, and I spent time with people who would have given anything for one more ordinary day with someone they loved who they lost. Just one more dinner, one more walk, even one more argument if that ends with a hug. That contrast made me fight harder for the relationships I do have. With my husband, with my children, with my friends, I am far from perfect, but I repair faster these days, and I cherish them more. At the end of life, people rarely talk about inbox zero. They talk about people. They talk about love or the lack of it. They talk about moments where they were present or where they checked out. So what can you do with this truth? First, make repair normal. You do not have to do everything right, but you can start saying, I'm sorry. Believe me, I am so bad at this, but I'm learning. I try to say, I'm sorry, that did not feel good. Can we try again? I try to say it to my partner and to my children, to my friends. Second, build tiny connection rituals. 5 minutes of undistracted eye contact, touch, or listening with someone in your home today. No phone, no multitasking, just 5 minutes of being there. Here are 2 super simple actions you can take. Send one I am thinking of you message to someone important. It can be one sentence. It can be a heart emoji. The content does not matter as much as the act of reaching out. Choose one relationship that really matters to you and ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do this week to nurture this, even with my current energy and time? And then I want to leave you with this reflection. If something happened tomorrow, who would you wish had called today? Regrets are almost always about love, not productivity. Let that guide how you spend your attention. Truth number 4 is ordinary moments are the actual good life. When you imagine a good life, what do you see? Do you see a big highlight moment, the holidays, the achievements, the big celebrations? Or do you see a small, ordinary scenes that quietly mean everything? Sitting with people at the end of life made my ordinary evenings look completely different. Reading to a child in a messy bedroom, or drinking tea on the sofa with my husband, laughing with a friend on a quick walk between appointments. These scenes did not change on the outside. What changed was how I look at them. I started to literally inhale my kids at the age and stage that they are now. I started to say thank you for boring days without drama. Here's the truth. If you wait for big milestones to feel like your life counts, you will miss the life you actually have. So let us make this practical. When you find yourself in a situation with your kids, your family, and you feel like, oh, same old, how many times have I already said this? When you're overwhelmed with the noise and the dirt and the routine tasks, just pretend that you're this old woman who's allowed to come back for one more day. And you get to be here in your 40-something body and spend time with your kids. I also have a gratitude journal where I write down 1 or 2 sentences every day about little moments that I'm thankful for, about how good it felt to hold my 3-year-old's hands on the way to kindergarten, about how I'm still able to pick up my 10-year-old sometimes when she allows it, or how my 8-year-old tried to tell me a joke and laughed so hard that she could never finish it. I have so many ambitions and so many dreams for my life, and I love that for me. But at the same time, I know that at the end, those are the moments I will remember. I don't think that I will ever worry about YouTube followers on my deathbed, but I for sure will remember this little hand in mine. You do not have to change your whole life for it to be meaningful. You only need to see the meaning that is already there. Our last truth has to do with courage. Truth number 5 is you do not have time to wait until you feel ready. What is the thing you keep saying you will start one day when you finally feel ready, have more time, feel more confident, or look different? Maybe it is starting a creative project. Maybe it is changing your job, or maybe it is a trip, a class, a conversation you know you need to have. Being around people at the end of life made it very clear that one day is not guaranteed. In the last year, I let myself be a beginner in so many areas. Lifting weights, starting a YouTube channel, doing hospice training, saying yes to a sensual photo shoot at 41. None of that felt comfortable or polished. It often felt awkward and vulnerable, but it made me feel very much alive. If life is finite, then waiting to feel ready is a very expensive habit. So here is a simple framework that you can use. Pick one-day project and shrink it to the smallest possible step. 10 minutes, 1 email, 1 class to research. Ask yourself, if I knew I had 5 more good years, would I want to at least try this? If the answer is yes, then schedule this one tiny beginner action this week, even if you are terrible at it at first. Especially if you are terrible at it at first. I'm still terrible at YouTube, but I love it. Feeling clumsy is a sign that you are alive and learning. What do you want your future self to thank you for starting this year instead of only dreaming about it? Let death awareness be the permission slip you need to begin, not the reason to freeze. So let me recap these 5 truths for you. Your body is your only home. Most of what drains you will never matter at the end. Regrets are almost always about love, not productivity. And ordinary moments are the actual good life. And last but not least, you do not have time to wait until you feel ready. There is no pressure to implement all of them at once. Just pick one truth that pulled on you the most today. One question, one tiny action, and try it this week. If you feel like sharing, tell me in the comments which truth landed with you and what small experiment you're going to try. I would really love to know. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take a deep breath, look around your life right now, and remember, this is part of your good life already. May you have a wonderful day, and may you sprinkle some magic dust on the world around you.